Hi, welcome to Allbrands After Hours with me, Courtney Douthat, the show where we usually hang out and craft together. But today is going to be a little different. We're going to be doing ScanNCut 101, so let's do it. I want to first thank everyone that came to Houston Quilt Festival. It was so amazing to get to see everybody and actually answer your questions in person, hug you, take pictures with you. It was fantastic. And during that, it was kind of crazy to hear how many people wanted just ScanNCut 101. Hey, tell me about all the blades, tell me about all the mats. I've been doing this so many years, I didn't even think, yes, that is what people want. If you open it straight out of the box, we have no idea what these things are. So we're going to go through those together. What I'm going to do is actually first start on the blades. The blades are usually, for me, the biggest telltale of what machine you have. When I was talking to a lot of people at festival, the first question I asked was, if they didn't know the machine model, was, do you have numbers right here on your blade? Because what that would mean is before it had auto blade or after auto blade. And auto blade is a huge difference. So like right here, and I'll do some close-ups so you guys can see it a little bit better. You have the numbers and no numbers. So if you don't have numbers on your blade, that means you have an auto blade. If you do have numbers on your blade, that means you need to set your cut pressure and your depth. So the more you go to a larger number, the more the blade comes out. The smaller the number, the more the blade goes in and it's not so deep. And then cut pressure, the higher the number, the higher the pressure. The lower the number, the lower the pressure. So if you've got any CM models, that's the kind of blade you would have. If you don't have numbers on yours, you have an auto blade. So you don't have to worry about knowing any pressures or cut depths or anything like that, which that's a really huge difference. I had a CM 650, loved her, great. When I came out with the auto blade, I was like, I'm upgrading. This is fantastic. I used to have a notebook with every single one of my cut pressures, everything, cut blade, and it depended on what your material was. Every single material usually had a different set of pressures and blades and everything like that, so you had to keep track with every single one of those. Now with an auto blade, there's no more of that, which is a huge difference. What it does is it actually senses how deep that material is and will only cut through that material unless we do a half cut, which is half. Reasons I would use half cut would be like vinyl. Vinyl is 2 parts. So I only want to cut through that first part, not that second part. So I would do half cut for that. Alright, so let's go through the different blades. I'm going to grab them all real quick. Okay. So, things that come in the box with your machine if you have a DX. Depends on what model you have. The different models have different things inside. But I'm going to show you what all of them are, so it doesn't matter what machine you have. You'll know what it is when you open it up. So you have your black auto blade, which is this girl right here. Just a simple black one. What I would use her for is vinyl, cardstock, anything that is not fabric is what I would use her for, honestly. She's kind of your multi-purpose tool. Alright? The gold one, or tan, whatever you want to call it. I think Brother calls it tan. I call it gold because I'm fancy. Your tan, that is going to be your fabric. So think like the cotton fabric, anything like that, that is what this is going to be. So if you're just doing a simple cotton, you can use this one. So think fabric scissors, everything else. Do we use our fabric scissors? I feel like it's the same color as the wall. Do we use our fabric scissors on paper? No, we don't. So when you're looking at them, okay, well, I'm doing a cotton fabric. Here are my fabric scissors. Here's everything else. If I'm doing cardstock, oh, well, I'm not going to use my fabric scissors. I'm going to use my black one because that's my everything else. So you're going to get, or you're going to see, usually, is the new rotary blade. What is this? This is a blade that has lint in it. There we go. It's been pre-loved. What this is it looks like a little rotary, and it does specialty fabrics. So usually I think if it's something that's going to be a little bit more difficult, like say it's a wool or a felt or something that doesn't have a close weave to it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this one because it's probably going, not probably, it is going to give me a better cut. It's more detailed cut. Now it does take longer to cut, which I've noticed, than these, because what it's doing is it's cutting at an angle. It's coming in and it's going around. So it's not going to go like these where it just goes all the way around. Say we had a circle. It's going to come here, come here, come here, and go around where it thinks it's getting its best cut. That way it's giving you the cleanest cut instead of pushing your fabric around, which I mean these don't do a ton, but instead of, you know, if it was a felt, kind of pushing that around, it's going to keep coming where it thinks that it's going to give you the cleanest cut possible. So it's going to take longer to cut, but it's going to give you a better cut, if that makes sense. All right, so that's what I would use this one for, the new rotary blade. If you have a 330, those have, or I'm sorry, SDX 330, that comes with it in the box. If you have a 325, it does not come in the box, but you can still use it. You would just have to buy it separately. And the box looks like this. I went and grabbed a bunch of the boxes because I'm a visual person, so it's like to see. So if you see Alex, that's going to be your rotary cutter, which is my son's name, so it makes me happy. You're going to see that. She comes inside that box. So like I said, if you have a 330, it's already coming with it. But if you have a 325, you have to buy it separately. So that's what you would get. Make sure you're getting the kit, not just the blade, because I had a few people ask me, Courtney, can I take the rotary blade and put it in one of these, the other ones? No, you can't. This is the thin fabric blade. You can, well, this will go into that won't go into this, but it's not going to work properly. So you need to make sure you're not just buying the blades, you're buying the holders, and if you get one of the kits, it's all going to be in there. So it's your thin fabric blade, specialty fabric. So you think thin cotton fabric scissors, specialty fabric, everything else. So those are ones that you could possibly get in your box, depending on what model you have. Different ones like the vinyl blade, those I haven't seen a machine come out with this one in the box with it. You usually have to always buy these separately, and that box looks like this. So it's got a little whale on it, made out of vinyl. If you're going to do a lot of vinyl, and you know you're going to do a lot of vinyl, then this blade is good to, you know, to look into. She gives a better cut on vinyl. You can do vinyl with the black blade. She just does it better. So if you're not going to do a lot of vinyl, and it's not something you're really going to be into, well then this will fill your needs and you'll be fine, the black one. If you're doing a lot of them, then it's worth investing in. The prices, I don't like to say prices online because depending on who your authorized brother dealer is, they might have different prices. I don't know. So I don't want to give you a price and then you'd be like, oh my gosh, Courtney, you said it was going to be this and now it's this. Don't look at me. I work for Allbrands. I know Allbrands pricing. I don't know the rest of them. So let's see, what's another one? Okay, so those are two different ones. There is also pin set. So a pin set is going to come into your machine, no matter the model. It's going to look like this. What you're going to do is you're going to pop her open in the back, and you're going to drop in one of the pins. As far as I've seen, all models come with at least the air soluble and the water soluble pins. You just pop the lid off of one, pop it in the back. There you go. You put her in the same spot that you would put your blades. There we go. And she's good to go. You would tell her draw, not cut. The great thing that brother did, which is awesome, is they took some of that user error out, and they made it to where if you put your draw one in and you told it to cut, it'd go, whoa, hold on, and it wouldn't let you. If you, vice versa, if you put a cut one in and told it to draw, same thing. It would be like, hey, you have the wrong one in there, hold on now, which I appreciate. Take some of that user error of me out of it. So that's huge. That's awesome. There are pens, depending on your model, they come with it. These are just regular little markers that fit in there. Again, it depends on what model you have, if you have those pins in there. But you can, of course, purchase those separately. All this stuff you can purchase separately. If you need new blades or holders or anything like that, you can always find them separately. It does not have to be like a one and done. You can get them separately. Courtney, how often do I need to switch out my blades? Great question, Deb. I feel like there's going to be a Deb out there that's going to be like, oh my gosh, she heard me. So it depends on how often you use it. I know, Courtney, that's a terrible answer. It's not. So say I'm doing something that is super thick, like a thin balsa wood. If I'm doing something like that, it's going to wear my blade out faster than just a regular piece of cotton fabric. So if I'm using a lot of them and wearing it down, Okay, then I'm going to have to change more often. You really don't have to do it very much. I mean, I'd say it'd be like every 1 to 2 years I change my blade out, mostly just because I like to. But also, if you're noticing it's not giving you the same cut that it originally did, it's probably trying to change your blades. If it's doling out and you're like, oh gosh, it used to give me a crisp cut, and now it's doing it, but no, it is great. It's time to change them. The way you can do it, it's 1,000% to you. The blades that come with your machine have a blade in there. The ones you buy separately do not. So you would buy the holder, or you would buy the blade. So you can pop her open, take the little spatula that comes with your machine. All of them come with them, as far as I know. There's a foam bit. You're gonna pop it on in there like this. There we go. Come on. And you're gonna take your blade out. You're gonna take your new one, pop them in there, and that's if you're buying a new blade with the same holder, or if you bought a new holder, same concept. So there it goes. All right, let's see. I'm jotting through them quickly. Everyone at festival was like, Courtney, I need to know, what is this? What is this? I don't know what this one is compared to this one. They're different colors. I don't know. So we're going through that. So what this is something else that you can buy separately, which is called a universal pin holder. What is a universal pin holder? So what a universal pin holder is a little pin holder that can fit into your machine just like the rest of them. She's not this one. You're used to this one with the little pop top. That can only fit the Brother small markers. This one can fit a lot of other things. So think like a Sharpie. If you have a preference on pins, or if you have a preference on water soluble or air soluble pins that you like to use, as long as it can fit in that barrel tightens up. And that's how it holds that pin in there. So if it can fit in there, you're good. And you can use it in your machine. And you just pop it in, like I said, like the other ones, lock her down, and you're good to go. So that is something. And all of this, I'll link in the below. If you've never noticed, we always link all the products that I talk about. That way you can click the button. It brings to our website, allbrands.com. And it has them all listed there. So then that way you know, oh, wait, this is a ScanNCut product. This will work with my ScanNCut. So all these blades that I'm talking about, other than the one with the numbers, can work in a DX model. Well, this one can do. Universal pin holder will work in both. So if you don't have a DX model, which is the auto blade, what you're going to be doing is one of these or the purple one. I don't have her on me. She is the deep set blade. And again, the higher the number, the more the blade comes out. So if you know you're going to do something super, super thick material, you're going to get one of those purple blades, which is the deep set blade. Will the vinyl blade work in your machine? No, because remember, she is an auto blade. Will these blades work into a auto blade machine, the SDX? No. So that's how you tell them apart. I always tell people, if you look at the SKU number, usually, especially in the mats, the little SKU number is going to have DX in it. So if you see DX, you're probably good. You have it for the auto. I know Allbrands, we list all of the recommended accessories down below these machines, so you can always go to the machine's page, look down below, and all the ones that are going to work for this machine should be on there, and vice versa for the previous models. All right. I'm just shooting information at you guys. Hold on tight. We're going. All right, so also in the box, you're going to get your cute little pouch. No nerd that. Okay. You're going to get your cute little pouch like this to hold your stuff. Now, with the DX models, they actually gave you storage right here. I don't know if the camera's too bright to see this little storage right here, which I appreciate. To put your things, there's storage right here. Let's go over some tools. So, like I said, this little spatula, I'm so sorry, stop texting me, people. Like I said, this little spatula, that comes in there. Courtney, what am I going to use a spatula for? Well, think you're on a sticky mat and you want to get things off. I'm going to use this to get things off so I don't tear anything, especially a new sticky mat. Do not rip. Do not rip. Please, for the love of goodness, do not rip. Use this, guide it up. It's already comes with your machine. Just guide it up and you're fine. All right, so that comes with the machine. You also get this little stylus right here. I usually lose these a lot, but my finger's always there, but that's what it is. It's just to click on the screen, and you can use it to maneuver. So that usually comes, that not usually, it does come with your machine no matter the model. Alright, so let's go over a few different accessories that I personally have that I like. Alright, universal pen holder, we talked about her. She is really great. Again, if you're going to do a lot of drawing and you want to use your own markers, that's really great as long as it can fit in that barrel. Alright, so it comes with the plastic spatula tool, and that one works great and dandy. However, I like the metal set. It comes in a box that looks like this. I like these. I like the metal one. I feel like it's bigger for one. Where is it? It's bigger for one. Let's do a comparison. She's bigger. She's longer. She's fabulous. But I can really get in there, especially if I'm cleaning my mat or something like that. She's a metal object. She's going to be great. So I like that. And it feels a little bit more sturdy. It also comes within the box, which just is a game changer. If you're doing vinyl, I like how I'm pointing it at you. If you're doing vinyl, what this can do is help you pick that vinyl that you don't want on your design and kind of weed it out. Not kind of, it will weed it out. It's just a helpful tool, one, to get you started, and two, just to grab those pieces and go. If you're doing something very detailed, time saver, which is awesome. So, love these. That's what that is. Okay. Next, brayer tool. Courtney, what is this thing? It's a brayer. So what it does is, say we had our mat right here. I wanted something to be on it. Say my mat's losing its sticky over time. This is going to make sure it's on there. These used to be really handy before the fabric mat, when we used high-tack support sheets. A high-tack support sheet is a sheet that you put on your mat to make it extra sticky. So that's what we used to have to do when we wanted to cut out a lot of fabric. We would have to use a high-tack support sheet. So if you have a CM model, that's going to be your best friend. If you have a DX, you can get the fabric mat because that will work for your machine. So if you were doing a high-tack support sheet, it was a sheet you'd have to put on there, so you'd want to make sure you got all the bubbles out and everything like that. So that's what I used to use mine for majority-wise. Now what I do is whenever, like I said, I'm losing sticky on my mat and I want to make sure that material is really on there, then I'll use my brayer tool and kind of, go over her a few times, and I know she's stuck on there. All right. What is this? This is, I don't know if it's called a squeegee or what. I'll look up the name. We'll put it up here. What I use this for majority-wise is to clean my mat. Whenever I'm cleaning them and I put a spray, I don't know if Brother's going to let me say what spray it is, but if you came to festival, you know. What it does is when I put that particular cleaner on there, I'm just going to move it around like this, and then I wipe it down. So I use it for that. Majority-wise, I don't know if Brother's gonna be okay with me saying it. It's called Totally Awesome. You can get it at the Dollar Tree. I'm gonna ask permission, so if you don't see this part, they said no. But if you do see the part, it means they were okay with it. So if you put spray down Totally Awesome, get it at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. Don't get me started on the fact that it's $1.25 now. And then you would scrape it out. You're not scraping it. You're just pushing it around a little bit. Paper towel, wipe it down, set it out to dry, and it brings back all that stickiness. Do not put your clear cover on it beforehand because it will mess with that and you will lose your stickiness. So let it fully dry, and then you can put your clear cover back on. So that's what I use that one for majority-wise. Alright, so I keep referring to the mats, but that is something that a lot of people have questions on. It's the blade and the mats. So, new girl on the block right here. This is your fabric mat. So remember, we're talking about DX models, so if you have an auto blade. Tan blade. It's really easy to remember. They got smart and they start color coding things, which I appreciate. So, tan mat, so this is going to be all your fabric. All your fabric goes on here. So that's what you would use that one. She is the stickiest one that they have available, is this tan mat. Alright, let's see. I'll put it right here. Next one is, I'll see her last. We'll go and roll. So next level down from stickies. Remember, fabric mat was stickiest. Choose our next one. This is your standard mat. If you're doing vinyl, or you could put fabric on it. Honestly, especially if she's new, she'll hold your fabric if you want. But I use her majority for my vinyl. So you don't have to use them for these exact things. These are just the things that I recommend. That work best with that mat. So again, that purple one, you could use any blade in there. It's not going to tell you can't. But now you know what your blades are for, so you can kind of think, okay, if I'm doing vinyl, if I don't have a vinyl blade and I'm just not doing a ton of vinyl, then I can use the black one with the purple mat, and I'm good to go. If I'm doing a ton of vinyl and I invested into the vinyl blade, then I could use that one with the purple mat. So that's awesome. All right, next mat, the blue mat. This is your low tack mat. So think paper, 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 paper. If she's super sticky, you can get away with a few other things. Paper. I do not want to put paper on my standard mat or my fabric mat because I'm going to be picking off paper for the rest of my life. It's not that long. It's just tedious and it's ridiculous. So I'm going to use this one for my paper because it's not as sticky, so it's not going to rip my paper. Also, if you do not have a scan mat, which we'll talk about next, you can use this to scan because you could use all of them to scan, but I don't want to put paper on the other ones. So you can put paper on this one, scan things in to be, remember, scan and cut. So we can scan things in using this one, and it'll do great. It'll work great. So with this mat, you wouldn't be doing fabric, so I wouldn't really look at the fabric blade. So it most likely would be your black blade for your paper. So cardstock, doesn't matter how thick the cardstock is. You can do up to a 3 millimeter thickness, so think like a puffy foam. I've never seen a piece of paper that's that thick. So I think you're good. All right, so last but not least, your scanning mat. And I do have more to show after this, but your scanning mat. So what the scanning mat, there's no sticky to this. The other mats are sticky. This one is not sticky. Just has a flap. So say I had a piece of paper. I don't think I have one on me. We're going to use a different mat. Anyways, so say I had a piece of paper that I wanted to scan. It has the Allbrands logo or had whatever. Whatever I printed offline does not have to be special paper any kind I printed it off. I would stick it in here, put the flap down, put it in my machine to scan. And what that's going to do is scan that image and make it into a file that the ScanNCut can read. You can do it on your low tack mat, but say I was taking something like a Charlton's Place John John pattern, that pattern material is like tissue. So I don't really want to put it on something sticky and possibly damage it. I'm going to use this, put it in, and then my material is okay. I had one lady, she was saying she was scanning at festival. She told me she was scanning in all of her grandmother's patterns so she could have them on her machine. It was just like different doll patterns. Those are special to her. She doesn't want to possibly harm them. So this is a way that she can do it. And honestly, I feel like it gives a clearer scan than the low tack. You can do it if you don't have this one, so it's a workaround, but it does give you a nice scan. Okay, so all these mats that I've talked about, they're a 12 by 12 mat. And if you have a CM model before the auto blade, you have the same mats except the fabric mat, but they're for that model. So those are the difference between the two. All right, so, and can you interchange blades or mats? No, because it reads, let's see, you can see it better on this one. It reads the things at the top, and it knows what mat's in there, so it won't let you interchange them. So, for that machine and for that machine. So this is a 12 by 12. However, with the ScanNCuts, there are 12 by 24s available. It depends on what your model is, depending on if you can use them in your machine, because I know some different ScanNCuts that are lower models cannot use a 12 by 24, but the higher ones can. So if you have a 225, I think it's 230, a 325 and a 330, you can do a 12 by 24. Don't know if there's additional ones. Those are just the ones I know. So the 12 by 24, I have one down here. Let me grab her. I also have my Starbucks drinks. Okay, 12 by 24. Ooh, she's a big girl. She is large and in charge. What she is it's this 12 by 12, but then again. So it's 12 across still, but it's 2 of them down. So 12 by 24 mat. This one happens to be the low tack mat. There is a 12 by 24 scanning mat. There is a 12 by 24 low tack and standard mat. There is not currently a 12 by 24 fabric mat that I am aware of, brother. Just saying, we would really love that 12 by 24 fabric mat. I'm just, if you want to throw that to us, that would be great. Because again, that fabric mat's the stickiest one, so I'd love to have it in the longer one. Sorry, I'm still losing my voice from festival. Whew, we were nonstop, and you hear how much I talk. I did that for multiple days straight. So, 12 by 24 mat is fabulous because you're not limited this way. So you could just keep going. If I was doing a quilt, I could just line up all my pieces all the way down the mat and then take this to my machine. When I'm ready to sew things out, I just take the piece that I need and start sewing it. So then that way none of my pieces are dropping or falling. And since she does draw, I draw my seam allowance on there too. So everything's perfectly ready for me and waiting for me. It's kind of like one of those boards that you can put your quilt blocks to kind of get it in your head. Same concept. So leave it on sticky. Why not? Unless you're cutting out multiple and doing like an assembly line. Well, while you're sewing, that can be cutting for you and you're kind of, making things go a little smoother. So 12 by 24, like I said, it comes in the scanning, it comes in the low tack, and it comes in the standard. Brother, should it come in a 12 by 24? Yes, it should. The fabric should come in a 12 by 24. They're probably doing it, and they're just like teasing us and haven't done it yet. As soon as it does come out, I'm buying one, and I will let you guys know. All right, next. Okay, one last thing. I feel like I've been talking so fast. I'm so sorry if I'm just shooting a lot of information at you. This is what, at festival, like I said, this is what people were asking me for. They were like, please go through the things. It's a little confusing, to have all the different things. But if you ever have a question and you don't remember, refer back to this video. It's up on our YouTube channel, so you can always come back to it from here. This is transfer tape. The transfer tape is awesome. If you're going to do vinyl, you're going to need transfer tape if you're doing pressure sensitive vinyl. Two different kinds of vinyl. You've got heat transfer vinyl and you've got pressure sensitive vinyl. So HTV, PSV. Heat transfer vinyl, you're going to use that when you want to heat it up. So with an iron, you're going to heat it up. So if I want to use that, I'm not going to use it on something like a plastic cup or a wall because I don't want to add heat to that. But for fabric, for shirts or quilts or anything like that that's a fabric, I can use heat transfer vinyl. So think like a stuffed animal. I've seen a lot of times with the little elephants and they put the baby's information, its weight and size and everything like that on there. Well, you could do a heat transfer with that because most likely, the baby's going to be playing with it. You might have to wash it and something like that. So it can go through there just fine. So heat transfer vinyl would be awesome for that. Pressure sensitive vinyl, so PSV. Think if you wanted to do a wall decal or put it on a cup, I don't want to add heat to them, so I'm going to use pressure sensitive vinyl. So for pressure sensitive vinyl, you're going to need transfer tape. So what is transfer tape? Transfer tape is whenever you need to take the image from the paper backing and you want to transfer it over to an item. So it just keeps it all together. If it had a name, then the name's going to go over all in one and it's going to be a clean image going onto there instead of having to pick it off and do one by one on each letter, make sure the spacing is correct. Transfer tape takes care of that for you. So heat transfer already has that built in, so you don't need it for that. But pressure sensitive, it needs a little extra help. So that's what that was for. I'm trying to think if I've explained everything. I'm sure I haven't. I'm sure I'm missing something. So if you have questions, please put them in the comments below. If you are the customer that asked me to send her my cheat sheet for a CM model, I lost your email and I apologize. So if you're that customer, let me know and I'll send you that information. So like I said, thank you so much for everyone that came to festival. I know this is very quick rundown of everything. But a lot of people were just asking me, Courtney, just please go through the mats and go through the blades and tell me what they are so I can use them. You got your machine, you're excited, let's have some fun. If you, again, have any questions, please put them down below and I personally come and answer those. And I'd love to be here to help. Sorry that last week we didn't have the video for unforeseen circumstances, but that video will be coming out next and that will be vinyl using heat vinyl on a t-shirt to make a very cute little fall shirt for my son. So make sure you come back next week to see that project. Usually I don't tell you what project it is. I always say just projects, but I actually know which video that is. It is done and it's ready to go. So thank you again for joining us. Make sure you come back next week. We'll be doing a project and y'all have a great night. Bye.